Hey there, buds. Awesomust here. If I sound absolutely dead inside, well, you'd be right. I'm just absolutely done right now, and it's for a very interesting reason. See, a new teaser image came out for Help Wanted 2, and it presented the imagery of a white tiger plushie, specifically of Tiger Rock, and that means Tales from the Pizzaplex, and to an extension, Fazbear's Frights, is canon to the games, and are within the game's continuity. There are several problems that I had with this. For one, I made it no secret to say that the games have become too reliant on books to tell their story and cram their lore in, when it should be more present in the games. I mean, it kind of seems like a natural sort of thing to try and put your story where the majority of your audience would be, right? It's not like asking for too much, but instead, you ask of your audience to read outside material to understand what's going on, like you're giving them paid lore DLC. And it's just, I don't think that's the best idea, you know? You know? I mean, I tried to give them the benefit of the doubt. It's like, maybe if it's not directly in continuity, then maybe the books wouldn't matter as much. Maybe people could rely on the game solely to figure it out, and maybe the books could help. But, no, that'd just be, that'd be too simple. And apparently Scott doesn't do simple. He doesn't do that thing. No. And what this means for the story at large, I don't have kind things to say, honestly. The Mimic, to me, was not introduced that great. And honestly, I know that mainly has to do with communication problems between Steelwool and Scott himself. Scott was not that good at communicating it, so they tried to course correct with Ruin and the books and whatnot. I mean, sure. I mean, correct things where you can. People tried to defend the Mimic by saying that Henry did the exact same thing in the novel trilogy, and honestly, it's like, sure, on a surface level, yeah, but in FNAF 6, I feel like you can get a good enough idea of who Henry is without relying on the books, and even then, the material on Henry from the books came out before the game that he was presented in, and with the Mimic, it was the other way around. The game came out first. So when the book started explaining this character who seemed out of nowhere at first in regards to their presence in the game, and he just comes out of nowhere in that game after they explain him, and then, oh, there he is in Ruin. It just feels more hollow in a sense. But again, they tried to correct it as much as they could. But given the connections to Tales and Frights with Frailty, that means that Andrew is the vengeful spirit And, oh, I have so many problems with that. So basically, you have all these characters who could get revenge on Afton, and it'd be very satisfying, because it'd be built up, over the years, through all these games. But instead, you decide to have the revenge done by a character who didn't exist up to that point. Why the fuck would you do that? That doesn't really make sense to me. And explaining it in later games doesn't really help things because I didn't care about them in the first place. That would be like if in Return of the Jedi, instead of it being built up to Vader killing Palpatine by throwing him off that ledge, he actually ends up being a character who comes out of nowhere to do it, with no satisfying build-up to that whatsoever, and then his character gets explained in the prequels. That would come off as so hollow to me. And basically, given the circumstances and what we know in Frights, in the books and stuff, Afton's true death doesn't end with the satisfying speech at the end of Pizzeria Simulator. It happens at the end of one of the books, where he becomes a ridiculous amalgamation of garbage, and then he gets exploded by the puppet mask being thrown at him. I'm sorry, but that's dumb. I honestly think it would have been much more satisfying if Cassidy was the one to torture Afton. They had much more of a presence throughout all the games. They led the charge with the other MCI victims. There was a lot of imagery in there for UCN for some reason. Why the fuck were they there? Moral support? So it just kind of becomes like a twist or mystery for the sake of mystery, and that just rubs me the wrong way. It's just that's just not good. It'd make it so that in the games that Andrew just exists as a character to keep Afton alive for a game and then piss off just to never be seen again in the future. I mean, you could show him in the past, but I just don't know. That's just not satisfying to me. That's just not good writing. To me, the story of FNAF just sucks. It's bad. And that's a shame. I don't want to be saying this stuff. I usually try to be very positive, but all that's just kind of been sucked out of me right now. I'm kind of dead. It all just seems pointless. For a decade, I've been trying to solve this story, all for it to end up becoming so poorly constructed, spread out, with lots of mistakes that needed correcting, poor communication, characters that come out of nowhere, and I felt like I didn't sign up for this. I just feel strung around, and I honestly don't want to be part of it anymore. I just don't want to do this anymore. I just don't like the story anymore, so why would I stick around? I mean, I could still play the games, but I don't think I care about the story anymore. And I feel like that would probably drag the experience down when it comes to playing the games, because I probably wouldn't feel as invested. So that's a shame. Honestly, not sure if I'll make any FNAF content in the future. Maybe to quickly review some games, but I don't really know outside of that. I just feel done. If this all turns out to be wrong, then I don't know, I just might look like a fucking idiot. But who knows? Just like how the spirit of the vengeful spirit, or whoever Red Bear is at this point, sinks into the lake, just like them, I might rise back out as Dreadbear or something to continue liking the series again if something happens, but at this point, I honestly just doubt it. I honestly just feel done with this series at this point. Now, I would be sadder about saying all this stuff, but in all honesty, I'm not. Because the theorizing community, over the years, has become horrible. Not kidding, they have become absolutely unbearable. The lore has been spread so thin that people can't stop arguing amongst themselves. People have become so entitled to what they believe that they will not be afraid to belittle anyone who stands in the way of what they believe, calling others pathetic, stupid, wrong, dumb, cancer in some of the worst cases. And it's like, there's no respect anymore. There's no respect for your fellow theorist. And what fun is that? There is no fun. All the fun is dead. And besides, everybody knows this. Many people online have complained about it. Game theory has complained about it. And for good reason. No one wants to put up with this crap. And I mean, yeah, I agree. It shouldn't be so much to ask for some decency. People would go so far as to bring up the bad moments of people to try and discredit them in this world of theorizing, to make what their beliefs mean nothing. It's happened to game theory. It's happened to ID's fantasy. It's happened to me. And why would I want to be part of this? Why would I? I wouldn't want to be. I won't be. I'm just done. Five Nights at Freddy's. It's been a good 10 years. But I don't think I'm sticking around anymore.
Well, it's about time.
Yeah, took you long enough to realize that the story sucked.
Oh, Yang, Ed, what do you guys want?
Well, we're here to congratulate you for making the right choice.
Yeah, we thought the story sucked for a while, dude. There's a reason we left the franchise a couple years ago now. I personally left when the Mimic was introduced.
Same. But honestly though, I thought you'd never leave. This is surprising to see from you.
Yeah, honestly, I can't believe it's come to this point. So, now what?
Well, now you're free.
Hell yeah, you are. You aren't bound by the need to solve this bullshit story anymore. it became extremely unhealthy. You would send literal pages to us about how you'd justify, explain, or theorize the story scraps around here. Come with us.
Besides, do you really want to stick around to theorize with people who belittle and harass each other at every differing opinion?
Fuck no.
Yeah!
Yeah, that's the spirit. Now come on, dude. Quit your bitching and follow us.
Yeah! To freedom!
Freedom!
Goodbye, FNAF. It was fun.